The US is not a friend of Nigeria. And no, they are not coming to save Christians. So for those of you jumping up and down and celebrating that you hate your government and you believe that a savior, a white savior is going to come from America to save you, think again. You have to understand the mindset of the policymakers in America. This is a long-term planning for them. It's about geostrategic thinking. Number one, America wants access to the Nigerian market. It wants our rare earth mineral. We're not just talking about oil and the abundance of natural gas we have. We are talking about the rare earth minerals, particularly in the northern part of Nigeria. Ask yourself, why is this happening in the northeast? Why is it happening in the north central? Why is this happening in states like Niger State? Rare earth minerals like gallium, lithium, and a host of other rare earth minerals that are needed for the defense industry. America's largest export is technology, particularly military technology. And this is why they want to rival China, because the base determines the superstructure, meaning the economy is very important. And if the Chinese have found a way to be far more efficient in their production, far more efficient in the cost and a whole lot of areas than the Americans, America is lagging behind. And Trump wants to cut this difference. So he's using all these other variables to threaten China, to push China in order to narrow the gap, to narrow the difference between what America is doing right now versus what China is doing. For the Americans, it's about strategic thinking, it's about long-term planning. All this nonsense and primordial fighting between the Igbos and the Hausas and the Yorubas, Trump does not know the difference between the Hausa and Yoruba. These are all bunch of black Nigerians that he doesn't care about. You think the evangelical Christians in America care about black Christians in Nigeria? The same people that have meted police violence on black people in America. America itself is very racist. So these people don't really care. But this is the oldest trick in the book. It's called divide and conquer. The Americans are not interested in your well-being. They are interested in their own well-being. For them, it's about survival. America have a load of problems to solve on their own. But the fact that they are not interested in solving their own problems but projecting their own weaknesses on others shows you clearly what they're about. How about using the same energy to prevent the gun violence in America, to prevent the corruption in the United States of America, dilapidated infrastructure, supporting terror, fighting across the world? America is a friend of the United Arab Emirates. The Emirates gave Trump and his people deals worth over $1 trillion. Therefore, the Emirates have a carte blanche, a free hand to commit these atrocities they are committing in Sudan. Why is nobody talking about that? The RSF went to Al-Fashir and basically took out Africans, and they were mocking them, calling them slaves while they were doing this. All of this with the support of the United Arab Emirates and technology, military technology coming from America. Trump is not going to criticize the Emiratis like he just talked about the Nigerian government and described us like animals. And for those political players in Nigeria that have lost election and are not willing to wait for the next 3 years for another election cycle and going to America and going everywhere, castigating the country, you can have a problem with the government all you want. The problems of Nigeria did not start 2 years ago, or last year, or 4 years ago. This has been going on. So the idea of coming to bomb the country because you hate the president or you hate the current leadership in order to bring or save Christians. America will not come to save Christians. Explain to me how bombing Nigeria from the sky is going to reduce the level of religious violence or reduce the genocide against Christians as they are claiming. I'm a Christian as well, and I live in this country. Don't get me wrong. There are pockets of places in Nigeria where some of these things are happening. But on the whole, Nigerian Muslims are not running around with the intention of wiping out Christians. They cannot do that. Since the inception of Nigeria, or since independence in 1960, we have had Christian leaders and Muslim leaders. Yakubu Gowon from the north central part of Nigeria. I think it's Angas or Biroman from Plateau State. He ruled the country. Christian. Olusegun Obasanjo, Christian. Obasanjo came back again, Christian. Goodluck Jonathan, Christian. The current president is a Muslim, but his wife is an evangelical pastor in one of the biggest churches in Nigeria. If you look at the last crop of leaders, of military leaders that the government reshuffled, all of them, I didn't even know this much until recently. The Chief of Defense Staff, Chief of Army Staff, Chief of Naval Staff, Chief of Air Force Staff, Chief of Defense Intelligence, all of them Christians. So how can you claim that this government have an intention of genociding Muslims? And you are saying, oh, that the government have to take steps. If not, you are going to bomb from the sky. And people are celebrating that they should come and destroy the country, to hand it over to a particular section of the country or a particular ethnic group. For us, it is myopic, it is primordial, it is dumb, it is slow, it is stupid for us to think that our primordial sensitivities and fragility is far more important than the safety and the security and the well-being of this country. Nigeria is the biggest country in Africa by population, and we are sitting on abundance of resources. That is what they want. Trump is not coming to save Christians and wipe out all the Muslims. That will not happen. Any attempt to bomb from the sky will lead to the disintegration of Nigeria and might lead to the loss of 10 to 15 million people. Be careful what you wish for. For those that the gods want to destroy, first they make mad. We have lost our mind in this country.